Welcome back, everybody. My name is Taylor Martin, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different, something fun. As many of you know, I've been doing videos online for nearly 8 years, over 8 years. I don't know. I've been doing it for a long time. I can't keep track anymore, but I also have another channel, and on that channel, I did EDC content as well. I've been doing everyday carry stuff for about 5 years, ever since I first learned about it. And where I first learned about it was, it wasn't exactly everyday carry. It was from a website called This Is My Next, which would later become what you now know as The Verge. When they created This Is My Next, they had a series called What's in Your Bag, and they would go around asking different people what they carried in their bag every day, and it's very closely related to EDC. It could technically be EDC content. You guys ask me for bag dumps all the time. I promise you I'm going to do a bag dump very, very soon. I promise you. And from there, it just kind of blossomed, right? I discovered that there's an Instagram EDC community. People started sending me pictures of their EDCs without me asking, and then the show was born. And here we are now. But I did my own EDC video, my very first EDC video 5 years ago. So today I'm going to watch that video with you guys and react to my very first everyday carry. Oh boy. Let's do the damn thing. First thing you'll notice is that this was from a time when I made sub 20-minute videos. I don't know when I just started making these really, really long videos. It just kind of naturally happened. I talk a lot. I know that. That's probably never going to change. But this was a 5-minute and 42-second video. Like, that's ace. First up, I know there's this, the dubstep. How could I forget the dubstep intro? The thing was obnoxiously loud, and people were really upset when I got rid of this intro, but every single video, the first thing you hear is just whomp right in your ears, and it was always there. And I got tired of it. People got tired of it, but some people were genuinely mad when I switched away from this intro. I am so glad I did. This was the birthplace of this channel. This was in my sister's basement. I had just quit my job with Pocket Now, and I was not working in tech. I lived in her basement, and I was starting a YouTube channel, and I had big dreams for this channel, which ultimately went pretty much nowhere. It led me to this, but this channel just never really flourished. So I had a couch and a camera, a really crappy camera. This was a Sony NEX C3. It was the first ever camera I bought, and it made many, many, many videos. The stark contrast in the quality of the video is the first thing I noticed. I'm sure the audio is going to be horrible. I think I used like a Yeti mic, which was like 3 feet from me in this video. So my name is Taylor, and today I'm giving you my everyday carry. If you don't know what that is, it's basically the items that I put in my pocket every single morning. There's the first glimpse. It's routine. I don't leave the house without these items. So let's take a look at what I carry each and every day. First, I'm going to start with these. I'm going to get them out of the way very quickly. The phones. HTC One M8 on T-Mobile and the iPhone 6 Plus on Verizon, 64 gigabyte. This was shortly after I was reviewing tech like nonstop for years. I think 4 years, I did just nothing but tech reviews, and I loved both Android and iOS, and I couldn't choose, so I carried both. I had a phone in each front pocket, and I can't even imagine carrying 2 phones today. I hate stuff in my pockets now, and that was the absolute worst then, and now I can't even imagine it. But that phone right there on the right, the HTC One M8 front-facing speakers, one of the very first with those front-facing speakers, that phone was awesome if it didn't overheat on you all the time, which it did. It was like a furnace in your pocket. One M8 on T-Mobile and the iPhone 6 Plus on Verizon, 64 gigabyte. I went with the space gray. And that's pretty much it. I've been carrying them for a long time. I won't dwell on those because you guys know all about those. And this thing right here, the Moto 360, I got the silver one by accident. I wanted the black. I got the silver. Turns out I really like it. So I'm happy with that. That was also from a time when I loved smartwatches. I hate them now. I cannot stand smartwatches. And I've explained it a bunch. But basically, I feel like smartwatches, they create bad habits. Not everybody who wears a smartwatch is a jerk, but a lot of people who wear them are, and they don't think about it. Like, I've had many conversations with people with their smartwatches on, and I'm sitting here talking to them face to face, and they keep checking their wrist. And I know I was one of those people, and I didn't think about it until, months into wearing one, that I was constantly doing this, and people were always like, "Are you in a hurry? Am I keeping you from something?" And I'm like, "No, my wrist won't stop buzzing, and it's very, very difficult to stop looking at it. And you would have to manually turn on like do not disturb, and it just got very old, and I hated my wrist buzzing, which is the primary function other than fitness tracking. Fitness tracking is something totally separate, but it's been lumped in with smartwatches, and yeah, I used to love them. I was a huge proponent, and now I am the polar opposite. And yes, people ask me all the time, did I actually carry an iPad with me? Yeah, I loved my iPad mini. I wrote my articles back when I was writing tech articles. I was writing articles in plain text on an iPad mini. I don't know why. And then I have the Zag Keys cover. It's a very awesome Bluetooth keyboard with backlighting, and I love it. So now more to the little nitty-gritty items that you guys probably don't know so much about. I still skim through all the tech stuff. I never leave the house without a pocket knife. Ever. Oh. And I go back and forth between these two all the time. This one is a Schrade X-Timer Schrade. I got it a long time ago, and I never... Schrade X-Timer, which now to me looks like a paraframe knockoff from like a Gerber paraframe knockoff. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what the Schrade X-Timer is. Really carried it a lot. Does it tip down carry too? Because it's just really thin and slim. And that's actually why I started... It is a tip down carry as well. Because this one, the Gerber... And then this, I still have this knife. It's a fast, quick release Tanto blade, but I don't remember the exact name. It's got this is an 06 Fast, which is the budget version of the 06 Auto. Tanto and serrated, like a combo edge, like the absolute worst for sharpening. I don't think I've ever sharpened that knife. A window breaker on the bottom and then a little lanyard hole. It's actually very similar to the one that Rick Grimes uses in The Walking Dead. This isn't the exact knife. I got it before The Walking Dead came out, or before I started watching. Actually, the main reason I got this specific knife is because it has a little safety lock. And there are a lot of knives with safety locks out there, but I was carrying one day without a safety lock, and I sat down on it, and I very nearly cut my ass. But I got this knife very quickly, just in response to that. I just picked one. It was a very expensive knife. It's a $50 knife. Very expensive knife. It was $50. Man, things have changed a lot. Like, I genuinely thought a $50 knife was very expensive when I made this video. I knew nothing. I knew literally nothing about knives. I couldn't even tell you what the steel was on that. And I could tell you now they're both probably 8CR13 MOV steels, if not worse. You know, man, that's just... I think I still have that. Hang on. So here it is. I actually had this in my tool chest over there. This is the one and only Gerber 06 Fast Assisted Open 06 Auto Wannabe. So Gerber actually sent this to me as well. They heard me say that I liked this knife and I'd like to see one. But so they sent this, and I think the reason I like this and not this is because this is like the less gaudy version of this. I mean, this is Tanto and serrated and assisted. It's like everything I hate in a knife now. And this one is not. It's still kind of beefy and chunky. I'm sure it'd be a good camp knife or something. It's not something I would EDC. I have kind of an emotional attachment to this knife because it was kind of the first knife that really kind of thrust me into EDC, if you will. But this one is the legit version of this. So I don't know. I still feel weird about this and this. Chapstick. I can't go without it in the winter. Burt's Bees, that's the only way to go. That or Carmex. Sometimes I carry Carmex. So let's move on to keys because you all, or many of you know. Boy, look at that. Oh my. Okay, so that's actually two different key clips. Oh boy. I loved those Nitei's S-Beaners, the little mini S-Beaners at the time, but I also went crazy with them. Huge key tool guy. Why? I don't know, but I am. And I made this for this week's mini mod. I love. So one thing is, back then I actually did mini mods where I would do DIY projects every single Monday. It was Mini Mod Monday, and a lot of them, if not most of them, were EDC related, which I didn't even realize at the time. Someone pointed it out to me after the fact. But I was always doing these little key clip things and key organizers and all sorts of other stuff. And I actually carried this one for a long time, but I have friends who still carry the ones that I made for them years and years ago, which is, I think, really kind of cool. I love the way it looks. It is basically a replica that I made myself of the Apple's Transit Issue Keychain. And that's another thing. Like 5 years ago, there was one of these that I knew of, and I searched pretty extensively for a similar key clip like this. There was one, and I mentioned it here, Apple's, whatever. I'm sure it's linked below. One. How many key clips like this have you seen now, right? So I made one based on that. But now they're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. I think I have in my tool chest, I think I have like 5 or 6 different ones from different brands They're so common now, but it's funny to see like how far I've come and changed and all the stuff that's changed for me, but also how much the EDC world itself and the brands and the offerings in different categories have also changed in the last 5 years alone, which is pretty amazing, right? It's pretty cool, I think, to see, not necessarily 30 different brands making the same key clip, but to see that there are so many more options available now.
This is one of my favorite little things. Everybody asks me why I have a pill container on my keychain. This is not a pill container. This is the True Key, I think is the brand name, Cash Stash.
True Utility.
You unroll it, and there is a $20 bill inside. You can put any denomination of a US bill in this.
Why, Taylor?
European currency.
Why did I need this? I don't understand why I would have ever really needed this. It doesn't make sense to have spare cash on your keys. If you lose your keys, then you lose your spare cash. I don't know.
But it's basically meant to, if you lose your wallet, you have at least something to get by, to get to a phone or a cab or whatever, so you can get home and not
get to a cab. Not an Uber, a cab. Of course, now, these days, you can pay with just about everything with your phone, so that also makes a whole lot less sense to carry now. So maybe that's the perspective change, is that now everything's mobile and you have so many different options from your wallet that you can pay for. I left my wallet at home the other day. I got coffee and groceries without ever needing my wallet, which was pretty neat.
Next is this. This is the multi-key I made for the very first mini-mod, and I wasn't planning on making it, but when I saw it online, I absolutely had to make it for the very first mini-mod. It was so fitting. I have 3 house keys on this side. I have a mailbox key on this side, a flat head, a bottle opener, Phillips head, and then right there, you might be able to see it, is a SIM removal tool.
So this was another mini-mod, obviously. I explained that, but this was something I made on a whim one day, actually. I was walking around Lowe's and looking at just different parts and bits and pieces, and I made that for just a couple of bucks, which I think is cool. It's very rudimentary, and looking back, a lot of these DIY projects are very cringy. I'm not proud of the projects I did or many of the videos I made on this channel, actually, but we all start somewhere. I think that's the point of this whole video, really, is we all start somewhere. We have to start with our knowledge, our skills, everything. There's a starting point, and cringy as some of this stuff may be, this was my start.
The last 2 items from my keychain are very similar items. This one is the doohickey from Night Eyes, and this is the shard from Gerber. They do very much the same thing.
2 pry bars on my keychain. Makes sense, right? Why? Let's hear the reason.
They're kind of pry tools. This one's more pry, this one's more of a screwdriver. They have bottle openers. The reason I carry both is because this one has a Phillips head on it. This one does not. This has a hex driver. This does not. And this bottle opener works better than this one. So
to this day, I still don't think I've ever used one of those hex wrenches. It's so weird to see this, especially now. Like, so many people ask me now, like, why do you carry a pry tool? I just always have, and I've always found a use for them. It's one of those things that I don't use absolutely every single day. In fact, I'm not even carrying one right now, but I'd use something from like a Swiss Army knife as a pry tool. I've explained it a million times. It's just so funny that for the redundancies, like I had no problem back then with redundancies at all. I would just carry 2 knives, 2 phones, 2 of everything. And I've definitely refined and pared things down. I'm still bad at it sometimes. I still carry 2 knives just because I switch watches like 4 times a day sometimes just because I want to wear them all. Yeah, these, like, I had them clipped to my keys, and I don't know, it's just so funny to see how different I am now and how much I just was okay with whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'll carry 9 knives today, sure.
And finally is the wallet. I don't go anywhere without...
Popov. I had a Popov wallet back in the day, and this is actually very early Popov. I don't know how long he's been around, but I remember buying this and falling in love with this wallet. But if you compare the quality of this wallet, I think I still have this wallet. If you compare this to something new from Popov, he has also just improved immensely. He's so good. He's one of the best out there. And this wallet that I have, this blue one, is definitely some of his early work. I'm not saying that is like, it's not bad. It's just not nearly as refined as his stuff now.
Without this, most people don't leave without their wallet. But I got this one. It is the Popov leather wallet off Etsy. I have it monogrammed with TLM, my initials, and I chose the style, the thread color, and the actual leather color. I try not to add too many cards to it, maybe 7 or 8 cards at a time. And that is it.
So I went into like 0 detail on pretty much anything. Maybe I can take a page out of that book now. I don't know. I do go in depth on literally everything, but pretty interesting to just look back at my old original EDC. Like, this was the first EDC, and this video got 112,000 views. Wow. But definitely interesting to take a step back and look at my old carries, and it does kind of shed some light on how things have changed in not exactly good ways, like me always carrying and having really high-end stuff that's not necessarily always practical or ideal. I do talk about budget stuff, and I try to be very conscious of it and talk about it as much as possible, but it's also hard to not just love some of this very expensive stuff, not because it's expensive, but because you do get a benefit in quality and warranty, and a lot of the time, like, ergonomics and just the fit and finish of things is just so much better, and it's hard to want to go back. But that's the thing. Lately, in the last, I'd say, year, budget items have gotten so good, especially companies like Civivi and Steel Wheel and so many other companies are putting out ridiculously good budget items. And anyway, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and subscribe to see more stuff like this in the future. And be sure to hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. If you want to support what I'm doing here, just hit the links in the description down below. Some of those are affiliate links. You can also go to patreon.com/bestdamnedc. And you can also go to Carry Commission or carry.best. I have some merch available there. All the gear is pretty much sold out, and I do have plans to restock soon. With that said, follow us around the web. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at bestdamedc. You can find me, Taylor Martin, on Twitter and Instagram at CasperTech. And there's now a Facebook group and a Discord server. You can request to join those places. Just hit the links. Everything's linked down below. Great place to just stay updated on the channel. Talk to me directly as well, and just go join those places. They're fun places. The community there is amazing, especially in the Discord. But with that said, and until next time, carry on.